13 wars that shaped our world, from the verdant battlefields of ancient Greece to the desolate trenches of World War I, the clash of armies and the cries of conflict have echoed throughout history. Like it or not, war shapes the world. It decides geographical boundaries, exiles and migrates populations around the world, and determines the course of policy, government and political ideologies that persist in the modern world. In the animal kingdom, we see competition for resources and territory as a driving force of natural selection. In the human story, this struggle takes on a different form: war. While we may strive for peace, it is essential to understand the conflicts that have shaped our past. In other words, wars have a lasting influence on just about every sphere of modern society. Understanding world history, therefore, is impossible without studying the conflicts that have shaped it. Over the next hour, we will journey through time and across continents, examining 13 wars that have left an indelible mark on humanity. Our journey begins in the cradle of Western civilization, ancient Greece. Here, amidst the sun-drenched shores and bustling city-states, a conflict of epic proportions unfolded: the Peloponnesian War. This devastating struggle, lasting nearly 3 decades, pitted Athens and its allies against a league of Greek city-states led by Sparta. It was a clash of ideologies, of democracy versus oligarchy, of maritime might versus land-based power. The Peloponnesian War, documented by the Athenian general Thucydides, offers us a stark lesson about the corrosive nature of ambition and the fragility of alliances. The war's end, marked by Athenian defeat, ushered in a period of instability and decline, paving the way for the rise of a new power in the north: Macedon, led by the ambitious Philip II and his son Alexander the Great. We turn our attention now to the rise of an empire that would come to dominate the Mediterranean world: Rome. But Rome's ascent was not without its challenges. Across the sea, a formidable power from Carthage, led by the legendary general Hannibal, threatened Roman dominance. The Punic Wars, a series of 3 brutal conflicts spanning over a century, would decide the fate of the Mediterranean. Hannibal's daring crossing of the Alps with elephants remains one of the most audacious military maneuvers in history. Yet despite early Carthaginian victories, Rome's resilience and strategic prowess ultimately prevailed. The Punic Wars left Rome the undisputed master of the Mediterranean, laying the foundation for its expansion into a vast empire that would shape Western civilization. For centuries, the holy city of Jerusalem had been a place of pilgrimage and reverence for Christians, Muslims, and Jews alike. But in the 11th century, a series of religious wars known as the Crusades erupted, fueled by a complex interplay of religious fervor, political ambition, and economic motivations. European Christians, called upon by the Pope to liberate the Holy Land from Muslim rule, embarked on a series of campaigns that would span centuries. The Crusades, while ultimately failing to maintain a lasting Christian presence in the Holy Land, had a profound impact on the course of European history. They fostered cultural exchange, exposed Europeans to new ideas and technologies from the East, and contributed to the rise of trade, which in turn laid the foundation for the Renaissance. However, they also left a legacy of bitterness and mistrust between Christians and Muslims, the echoes of which resonate even today. Chapter 4. The 100 Years' War, Forging Nations. Imagine a conflict so enduring, so deeply ingrained in the fabric of 2 nations that it would span generations and redefine their destinies. This was the 100 Years' War, a tumultuous period of conflict between England and France that, despite its name, raged for over a century. It was a war marked by periods of intense fighting, punctuated by fragile truces and fueled by dynastic disputes, economic rivalries, and a growing sense of national identity. Out of the ashes of this protracted conflict emerged 2 nations forever changed. The 100 Years' War saw the decline of feudalism and the rise of professional armies. It also witnessed the emergence of iconic figures like Joan of Arc, whose courage and piety inspired the French to victory. Most importantly, it solidified a sense of national identity for both England and France, laying the groundwork for the modern nation-states we know today. Chapter 5. The 30 Years' War, a continent engulfed. The 17th century dawned with Europe on the brink of a religious and political precipice. The fragile peace that held the Holy Roman Empire together, a patchwork of principalities and kingdoms, was about to shatter. The 30 Years' War, a conflict of unprecedented brutality and destruction, engulfed the continent, drawing in major European powers and leaving scars that would take generations to heal. Fueled by religious tensions between Catholics and Protestants, the 30 Years' War quickly escalated into a struggle for power and dominance on the European continent. The war's conclusion, marked by the Peace of Westphalia in 1648, reshaped the political map of Europe and ushered in a new era of international relations. The concept of state sovereignty, a cornerstone of the modern international system, emerged from the ashes of this devastating conflict. Chapter 6. The American Revolutionary War, a new nation forged. Across the Atlantic, a new chapter in the human story was about to be written. In the British colonies of North America, a revolutionary spirit was brewing, fueled by Enlightenment ideals of liberty, self-government, and individual rights. The American Revolutionary War, a conflict that pitted American colonists against the might of the British Empire, would prove to be a watershed moment in world history. The American victory, secured through courage, determination, and the strategic brilliance of leaders like George Washington, gave birth to a new nation, the United States of America. This fledgling republic, founded on principles of liberty and democracy, would serve as a beacon of hope and inspiration for revolutionary movements around the world. Chapter 7. From the ashes of the French Revolution rose a figure who would reshape the destiny of Europe, Napoleon Bonaparte. A brilliant military strategist and ambitious leader, Napoleon led France through a series of military triumphs, conquering vast swathes of Europe and spreading the ideals of the French Revolution in his wake. The Napoleonic Wars, a series of conflicts that engulfed Europe for over a decade, marked a turning point in military history. Napoleon's armies revolutionized warfare, introducing concepts of mass conscription and employing innovative tactics that emphasized speed and maneuverability. His empire, though ultimately short-lived, left an enduring legacy. The Napoleonic Code, a legal system that enshrined principles of equality and individual liberty, spread throughout Europe, influencing legal systems to this day. The wars also fueled the rise of nationalism as people across Europe, inspired by resistance to French domination, began to forge stronger national identities. Chapter 8. The United States, founded on principles of liberty and equality, faced its greatest challenge yet, the institution of slavery. This moral stain on the nation's soul would ultimately lead to a brutal conflict that pitted brother against brother, state against state. The American Civil War, a conflict fought on American soil, tested the very fabric of the nation and the meaning of freedom itself. The war's end, marked by the abolition of slavery and the preservation of the Union, was a victory for human dignity and a testament to the enduring power of American ideals. Yet, the scars of this conflict and the legacy of racial injustice it left behind continue to shape American society to this day. Chapter 9. The 20th century dawned with Europe on the brink of catastrophe, a complex web of alliances fueled by nationalist ambitions and imperial rivalries set the stage for a conflict of unprecedented scale and brutality. World War I, the war to end all wars, shattered the illusion of peace and plunged the world into a maelstrom of violence that would claim millions of lives. From the trenches of the Western Front to the battlefields of the Eastern Front, a new kind of warfare emerged, one dominated by machine guns, poison gas, and trench warfare. The war's end, marked by the Treaty of Versailles, failed to address the underlying tensions that had ignited the conflict, sowing the seeds for future conflicts to come. Just 2 decades after the guns fell silent on the battlefields of World War I, the world was once again engulfed in flames. The rise of Nazi Germany, fueled by Adolf Hitler's ideology of hatred and expansionism, plunged the world into a conflict more devastating than any before. World War II, a global conflict that spanned 6 continents and involved over 30 countries, tested the very limits of human endurance and resilience. From the beaches of Normandy to the islands of the Pacific, The war raged, claiming the lives of an estimated 40 to 85 million people. The Holocaust, the systematic genocide of 6 million Jews, stands as a chilling reminder of the depths of human depravity to which hatred and intolerance can lead. Yet, amidst the darkness, glimmers of hope emerged. The Allied victory, secured through immense sacrifice and unwavering resolve, paved the way for a new international order, one dedicated to preventing the horrors of war from ever happening again. As the dust settled on the battlefields of World War II, a new kind of conflict emerged, one fought not with conventional armies but with ideology and proxy wars. The Cold War, a period of geopolitical tension between the United States and the Soviet Union, dominated the latter half of the 20th century. It was a war of ideologies, of capitalism versus communism, of democracy versus authoritarianism. The Cold War, though never escalating into direct military confrontation between the two superpowers, cast a long shadow over global politics. It fueled proxy wars in Korea, Vietnam, and Afghanistan, and kept the world on the brink of nuclear annihilation. The fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989 marked a symbolic end to the Cold War, ushering in a new era of globalized politics and economics. The jungles of Vietnam became a battleground not only for military supremacy, but for the hearts and minds of the American people. The Vietnam War, a protracted conflict that pitted communist North Vietnam and its allies against the US-backed South Vietnam, exposed the limitations of American military might and the deep divisions within American society. The war's legacy continues to shape American foreign policy and public opinion. It led to a reassessment of American military intervention abroad and fueled anti-war sentiment that persists to this day. The Vietnam War serves as a stark reminder of the human cost of conflict and the complex challenges of navigating a world often defined by competing ideologies and interests. The 20th century concluded with a conflict that showcased the changing nature of warfare and the enduring importance of oil in global politics. The Gulf War, sparked by Iraq's invasion of Kuwait, saw the United States leading a coalition of nations to liberate Kuwait and contain Saddam Hussein's aggression. It was a conflict defined by technological superiority, with precision-guided munitions and advanced weaponry playing a decisive role. The Gulf War marked the dawn of a new era of military technology and signaled the United States' emergence as the world's sole superpower. It also highlighted the growing interconnectedness of the global economy and the volatile mix of oil, politics, and religion in the Middle East. As we have seen, the tapestry of human history is woven with threads of conflict and cooperation, of war and peace. From the ancient battlefields of Greece to the modern conflicts of the Middle East, war has shaped our world for better or for worse. It has determined the fate of empires, redrawn the map of the world, and driven innovation in technology and society. However, amidst the destruction and despair, we also find stories of remarkable courage, resilience, and the enduring human spirit. We see the emergence of new ideas, the forging of national identities, and the evolution of international cooperation in the aftermath of conflict. As we move forward, it is essential to remember the lessons of the past, to learn from the mistakes and triumphs of those who came before us. For in understanding the echoes of war, we may yet find a path towards a more peaceful and just world.